right? So we can start about so many things in the world, like all the things that are happening, all the conflicts that are happening somewhere, and so on and so forth. But how much of that can you affect? You're spending your energy on thinking about those things. But if you instead focus on the circle of influence, so those things that you can actually affect,
yes,
then your energy goes to something constructive.
Well, I will be honest with you, being in law enforcement for 22 plus years, that's not the answer. That was not in our brains. Our brain was, shut it off,
shut out,
and go around, and it's someone else is dealing with it. The only way out is through. It makes you get uncomfortable. It makes you reflect. It forces you to truly dive into that piece that needs to be moved. So for those folks who are in fire and EMS and law enforcement, you're used to not doing that. You're used to shutting it off, just like I was. You have to some degree to be responsive. But when we practice that in our own development, right, that's what's the pause.
You don't have to go through it alone as well. That's a very important part of that, right? It's uncomfortable, just as Dawn said, when going through the emotions that you have been maybe suppressing and avoiding, facing them and so on. It's a very uncomfortable and sometimes very painful and scary process. So find someone whom you trust, find someone whom you feel safe around, and ask for help.
The only way out is through. And so, you can continue to take action right now by putting in the things that you struggle with, the pieces that putting it out there to the universe, that these are the things that I'm walking through today. On my personal journey, and Anna, I'm sure you have the things that you've plowed through. It was really shifting that scarcity mindset of there's not going to be enough, there's not going to be enough time, there's not going to be enough money, there's not going to be enough this or that. Shifting and plowing through that. Why do I feel that way? Sitting with it. Why? Because I have major mama guilt, right? Or whatever the reason is, and plowing through that so that we can get to that other side, which is abundance and joy and all the stuff that we talk about in our group. You could read all the books you want. I've read a ton of books, right? But when you're with a coach like myself or like Anna, you have someone guiding you with a perspective that you maybe haven't seen before. And that's really critical for some of that internal introspection. So I appreciate that. So if you're still on that side of, stress and anxiety around some of these key leadership pieces of your own life that you haven't been able to get through on your own, and I wasn't able to on my own. I hired coaches after multiple coaching programs, right? Hug Away says, Rita, I love it. To get on that other side is incredible, and you're worth being there.
Invest in learning yourself, getting to know yourself, exploring, and be courageous for that. We know it's uncomfortable, we know it can be scary, but there is such a beauty in that process, not only in the result, also the journey. So start exploring. And you can start on your own. Just take the notebook and a pen that you most probably have already at home, and start reflecting on a daily basis. Ask yourself, what am I proud of today? Because I'm sure that most of you are high performers, you're achieving a lot of things, you're doing a lot of great things that are so important in the society, but you never pat yourself on the shoulder for those. You never support yourself, you never acknowledge all the amazing things you're doing. So start writing down 3 things you're proud of or you're happy for.